Well, Tanzania's Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan was sworn in today as the 6th President of the United Republic of Tanzania following the death of President John Magufuli this week. She becomes the first female president in Tanzania and the East African region. SABC News correspondent Isaac Lukando has more from Dar es Salaam.
Samia Suluhu Hassan has been thrust from the role of Vice President to become Tanzania's first female leader. This after President John Magufuli's death on Wednesday.
This oath is different from all other oaths I have ever taken in my life. I took the earlier oaths in an atmosphere of comfort, joy and celebration. Today, I have taken the highest oath in this great nation, Tanzania, in great sadness and the country covered in a dark cloud of grief.
Tanzania's 61-year-old new president is now calling on her fellow countrymen to band together during what she says is a challenging time for her country.
Fellow leaders and citizens of Tanzania, I ask that we be patient. Let us build unity in this difficult time. Let me assure you that we are strong as a nation, and your leaders will ensure that we carry on where our fellow leader left off.
Samia Suluhu used her first speech as president to lay out the schedule for the laying to rest of her predecessor, John Magufuli. Residents of 4 cities will be able to pay their last respects over several days before he is buried in his hometown of Chato on the 25th of March. Under the Tanzanian constitution, Samia Suluhu Hassan will serve the remainder of Magufuli's second 5-year term, which does not expire until 2025. She will have an option to run for the top office in 2025 for another term. President Hassan began her political career in the year 2000 in her native Zanzibar as a member of parliament before being elected to the National Assembly on mainland Tanzania and assigned a senior ministry. She rose through the ranks of the ruling party until she was picked by Magufuli as his running mate in his first presidential election campaign in 2015.
I was fortunate to be Magufuli's vice president. He was a leader that never got tired of teaching, practically directing where he would like the country to go. He has taught me a lot. He has prepared me well.
President Hassan's swearing in is to be followed by a high-level meeting of her party's Central Committee in Dar es Salaam. She now begins the task of leading a 60 million-strong nation towards a better future. Isaac Lukando, SABC, Dar es Salaam.
Well, a journalist has written a letter to the new Tanzanian President, Samia Suluhu Hassan, saying that government should not cripple media through the Media Services Act, but consider other ways to regulate the media to reduce tensions. We'll see if we can speak shortly to the chair of the Foreign Press Association in Africa. And of course, journalists raising concern even about the way in which the death of John Magufuli was reported on, or the way in which journalists received information. We do have Kennedy Wandera on the line with us from Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Wandera. Firstly, how free or not free are journalists in Tanzania?
Yeah, owing to the information that has been coming from Tanzania, you obviously will understand that there is no access to information at all, because look at the surrounding the circumstances surrounding the death of the former president John Magufuli. There has been little information coming out to the media. Tanzania media has not been reporting about it. Yeah. And most of this information has been all speculation outside the country. So you really understand the terrain or the landscape of media in that particular country, and it is not easy to get that particular information. But with the inauguration of Samia Suluhu, who is now the new president, there is that wave of optimism that things might change.
Staying with John Magufuli, so the government is saying it was heart complications, but are you talking about the speculation that the one-time COVID denialist died from COVID-19?
Yeah, even for media it becomes difficult to say so, because do you have evidence to ascertain? Do you have evidence to corroborate what you perhaps might be speculating? Yeah, if the government is not willing to tell particular thing on a particular leader, then it becomes completely difficult for a journalist to confirm that particular information, because all these speculations have been there and on social media, everywhere in social media circles. But as a professional journalist in Tanzania, you are not able to ascertain whether this is the truth, because at the end of the day, you just have to say what the government is saying, whether it's true or not true.
Yeah, which leaves us all confused. I mean, this is so telling. So John Magufuli, the late president of Tanzania, a COVID denialist for some time. How did that affect how journalists could actually report on the pandemic?
It has actually, the Tanzanian media has been in a catch-22 situation, because the government says this country is COVID-free. Now, who are you as a journalist to go and report this is COVID? And therefore, it becomes completely difficult for a journalist to report on such kind of matter, because the government is saying Tanzania is COVID-free. Unless you, as a journalist, you are you're medical personnel who can ascertain whether this is COVID. If it is not, if you're not able to stand in that particular position to say or declare that this is COVID-19, then you cannot say that, because the government is going to come back to you and ask you, how did you ascertain that this is COVID-19? But with time, WHO has been urging Tanzania to be more bold about COVID-19, because there have been all speculations about a COVID situation in the country. And therefore, going forward, perhaps the new regime in Tanzania is going to be communicating information about COVID-19 in the country, because people have been speaking about this, WHO has been speaking about this, and Tanzania, as a signatory to WHO and UN, perhaps they are going to reach a point whereby they are going to be speaking more boldly about COVID-19 in the country. But this has been difficult for journalists to report in that particular country, because how do you report about it? What you are supposed to write is perhaps what the government says, what in quote we say, breathing problems.
Very quickly, I mean, what is her track record? She was seen without a mask, but maybe this is early days, special circumstances. I don't know. Do journalists know how the new president will receive their concerns or their calls for real change?
Nobody knows up to now. Because when you look at the swearing in and the whole procession today, when the new president was being sworn in, Samia Suluhu, you saw a packed room where only two presidents, the former presidents, are having masks on. The rest have no masks. Even the president herself doesn't have a mask at the time she came in the room. So we might speculate a lot whether that thing is going to change, but there is optimism that perhaps there could be a new way of handling COVID-19 or disseminating information in Tanzania, and everybody looks at the regime of the new president, Samia Suluhu, whether that is going to change. But what you saw today, what everybody saw today, that has been the situation in Tanzania. Nobody is acknowledging that there is COVID-19 in the country, and perhaps when WHO comes in, I've seen the message, the tweet from the WHO Director General saying that Tanzania perhaps might come up and speak more boldly about COVID-19, and WHO is going to be supporting them. So perhaps we look forward to seeing Tanzania's new regime coming up with these containment measures, and also trying to urge their countrymen to be on the lookout. But as it is for now, with what we've seen coming out of what has been televised to the world, there is little room to say that perhaps things may change quickly.
Yeah, I mean, not wearing a mask, it's incredible. We'll talk about the WHO, what they have been saying, with our foreign editor. Firstly, thank you very much. That was the Foreign Press Association Chair in Africa, Kennedy Wandera.